If you are listening to this podcast on Sunday, March 29th, before 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I invite you to watch my movie Soul Providers Los Angeles with me during the live stream on Facebook. So just go to facebook.com/Lisa Murray, LISAMURRAY, and I look forward to talking with you. Just say hello. Let me know you're from the podcast. And if you can't make the live stream, you can watch the movie on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Lisa Murray, LISAMURRAY. I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep it up there, but it's up there for right now. So go ahead and head over there, check it out, and let me know what you think. It's 53 minutes long, so a little under an hour. Thanks again for your support.
Live from Los Angeles, California, this is the Lisa Murray Show, and with your host, Lisa Murray.
The day I felt like I really started living.
I don't have enough money to start this business.
I'm so tired. I hate it. I'm working all the time.
I'm not inspired when I'm worried about money.
Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all.
I'm so sick of all these positive people talking about dreams. What about money? Like, how am I supposed to get the money?
What it's really about, it's about you pursuing what makes you come alive. It's about continually connecting with that energy and just keep doing that. Keep going towards that. That's what it's about. You need to give up. There's too many obstacles. I can't take this shit anymore. Ships are safe in the harbor, but that's not what ships are built for.
It feels really good to be my own boss.
I have dreams, damn it! Hi, everybody. It's Lisa, and I am recording this special episode on Sunday, March, what is today? 29th. March 29th, 2020. I'm recording it and I'm going to upload it today. I decided yesterday with the coronavirus and quarantine and everything else, I've been wanting to talk to you guys about, well, before all this hit, I wanted to talk to you guys about the physical dimension, which I'm still going to talk to you guys about that. We'll get to that. But then I've been thinking, I really want to talk to you guys about creativity and art in the face of what's going on, and how we are all collectively grieving right now. And it's so familiar to me and to anyone else who's gone through profound loss. You recognize it immediately. You're like, this is what grief feels like. And before I had gone through it, I didn't know what grief felt like. I didn't even understand what the word meant. Like, what is grief? Is grief sadness? Is it, what is it? So there's grief going on collectively, and there's also stress. But then there's also like this other it's a big weird sandwich, isn't it? Because then there's also a lot of opportunity for people to rest, read a book, catch up on movies, connect with their families, either if they're physically in the house with them or over Zoom. And we're just like really looking at life differently. And I love that, as you guys know. If you're a listener of this podcast, you know that I love looking at things differently, which is pretty much the entire purpose of this podcast. So, I've been thinking a lot about creativity and art, and a lot of people have been saying, wow, I'm watching this movie. You should check out this movie. Oh, check out this playlist. Listen to these songs. And then you see people painting at home or sewing or crafts and all kinds of stuff. And I'm thinking, art is so important. Art and artists are so important. And I just thought about my film, Soul Providers Los Angeles. And I'm like, I got kind of shut down a little bit because I got busy and because I overthought it. I screened it. The film was selected to screen at the Valley Film Festival last fall, which was like amazing. I was terrified, and it was so many emotions. Anybody that's put their art out into the world that's listening to this knows what I'm talking about. It's terrifying. And it's also like a really yucky feeling mixed with an exciting and exuberant feeling. It's really strange. It's like, how can you be terrified, disgusted, and exuberant? But yeah, those were all the feelings I was feeling. And I didn't really promote it because I had just had my Ag and Art Film Festival 2 weeks before that, which took every drop of promotion out of me. So I was just kind of like a deer caught in headlights. I was just like, oh, whoever shows up, shows up. And it was great. And the handful of people that were in the screening, they had really great questions and comments, and I really appreciate it. And also I want to say a huge thank you to the 3 artists that are in the film that showed up for the screening, Anch, Julia, and Scotty. Those 3 were able to come to the screening, and it was great because people were able to ask them questions, and they were able to say, their feedback. Because I filmed the first part of this film, well, I filmed all 10 subjects in the end of 2013. So it was around December of 2013. So that's 7 years ago. And a lot of things have happened in everybody's lives, not for mine so much. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. But it's so different when you're grieving and you're healing, and, time has a whole different kind of meaning. But for them, this was the first time they'd seen the film at all. And it was the first time that they probably haven't even thought about anything that they said in that film. So this is the first time they saw the film. And that was making me nervous too, because I was like, oh God, I hope they like it. So anyways, it was really good. So yesterday I was just thinking, and I'm like, I know what I was going to say, because I did some pitching sessions, and they're like, oh yeah, you should package it this way. And, I've originally wanted to have this be a docuseries. So 2 episodes or 2 subjects per episode, because that way you can get kind of into them a little bit more. And so maybe you're thinking of Anch and Julia, and you really are thinking about them for a whole week until the next episode. And then it's Dapo and Jarrell, and then you're really thinking about those 2. And I even bundled people together because I've shot 10 people. And, but then a friend told me, just put 5 of them together into a feature film and enter it into a film festival. And so that's what I did. So I picked 5. So there's still 5 more that no one has seen, but I picked 5, put it in a film, and there you go. So then I've been thinking, now I need to break it apart and do it as a, docuseries and move forward with that. And then I just kind of shut down. Does that ever happen to you? You kind of overthink the logistics of stuff, and then you're like, well, I could do this, and I could do this, and I could do this. Almost like you have so many options that you just get paralyzed, and you think, I don't know. So you set it aside. So that's kind of what happened with that. I knew I wasn't going to set it aside forever, but I set it aside. So back to yesterday with the global pandemic, and everybody's quarantined, and I'm looking at all these people online doing live streams of concerts, musical concerts, whether they're famous or not. That is making me happy because I'm a tech person, and I've been trying to get everybody to do video, hello, do video online, and just the fact that we can all connect. So it's been really heartwarming to see a lot of these kinds of things that people are doing. And then I thought, I have my film, Soul Providers, that I think is really meaningful with what all the artists are saying in the film. I'm putting it out. I'm doing it. And I did it late in the day yesterday, Saturday. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And I didn't even know how to do it. And you can't just stream a movie on Facebook, like a pre-recorded video on Facebook in and of itself. You have to find a third-party app. And so I did. I found a third-party app. I think it's called OneStream.live. And I was going to do it there, Periscope, and YouTube all at the same time. But there's a conflict between YouTube and Facebook or something. So I just did it on Facebook. And then on YouTube, I did it as a premiere on my channel. So that was 8 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, California. That was the first screening. And the reason why I did that is because it's 4 o'clock in the UK. And since I have some friends in the UK that have been wanting to watch the movie, I wanted to make sure it was a convenient time for them. And I've been told that it's sunny in the UK the past couple days. And so everybody's enjoying the sunshine and out gardening or walking around or whatever. And you know what? Since they've been raining solid, probably during this whole COVID stuff, that, live your life, get out and get that sunshine. But so I have one at 4 o'clock their time. And the next one is 1 p.m. California time. You can actually, if you're listening to this, you might be able to catch this. So it's 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. And what time is that one? 9 p.m. in the UK, I believe. So if you're listening to this podcast before this time, and my goal is to get it right up, then you will be able to listen to the live stream or watch the movie in the live stream. I'll be there on Facebook. If you have any questions, my Facebook page is facebook.com/Lisa Murray, LisaMurray. And it'll just pop up there. And then I will be in there. If you have any questions or anything, I'm there. And hopefully Dapo, one of the subjects, will be able to be there. And hopefully maybe Julia, maybe Scotty, maybe Anch, maybe Jarrell. I'm not sure. So Julia's shared it. Anch is excited. Everybody's excited. So yeah. So it'll be on Facebook at 1 o'clock Pacific time today, March 29th, streaming live with me. And then also at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, California time, is the final live streaming. Wow, I just did that. 4 o'clock is the final live streaming today. And that's for people in the West Coast who are out today getting stuff done. And then, who knows? Well, it does replay, though. I just noticed that. Like, it's replaying. So I don't know. It's just crazy. But I'm trying something new, and that's what's good. It's good when we push ourselves out of our comfort zone and we're like, you know what? I'm going to try this and it's new and I feel weird, but I'm going to do it. So that's what I did. So, yeah. So this is terrifying in a way, but not really. It's actually really euphoric for me. And I was sobbing. Like, once it started and people were showing up, there weren't a lot of people there this morning, which is fine. But it was, because I'm sure some people are like, what is this? And then that happens to me all the time on Facebook. I accidentally click in and all of a sudden I'm in some live thing and I'm like, what? I got to get out of here. But yeah, so it's just a live, feed of the whole thing. I wanted to read you what I posted along with the streaming post so that, I'm sorry, just bear with me, but I want to read it so I don't forget any parts of it. And then I'll close with sort of a few more thoughts and then that'll be it. Okay, so the film is Soul Providers, Los Angeles. It's a documentary. It's 53 minutes and 35 seconds. It's shot and edited by me, Lisa Murray. And the music is Dapo Torimiro. Okay, here we go. I shot this film in December of 2013, a little more than a year after my close friend Derek Jackson was killed. It was an experiment, really, not filmed for public consumption, but rather for personal healing. About a week after I finished filming the 10th subject and starting to reconnect to my creativity again, my brother Michael died unexpectedly. I wanted to throw this film away, burn the tapes, delete the files. How could this happen? I fought the temptation to delete everything as my way of getting back at God/the universe for taking away two extremely important people in my life. I owed it to the 10 artists to get it together and at least get the video to them. It took me years of living with this film, hating creativity, loving creativity, hating creativity, loving creativity, to get something together and get it out of my hard drive. I was so mad at the universe for taking two main Jenga pieces out of my life that I would be derailed for months at a time. The artist's words in this film that I spent years listening to over and over as I edited, saved me. They helped me heal from grief. You never completely heal from grief, but working on this film was like a salve on a cloth wrapped over my deep spiritual wound from profound loss. This film is not its final form, but rather a frozen moment of time. I shot 10 subjects, 5 are featured in this film. I just needed to be creative again after the shock and trauma of Derek's death. I asked 10 artists who were living and working in Los Angeles, some I knew, some I didn't know, if I could film them for a documentary about art and artists. All 10 said yes. I showed up to their homes, having never been there, in most of the cases, with 2 cameras, 1 microphone, and a wounded soul. I had no idea what I was going to capture. I had no lights. I had no assistant. I asked the subjects for the first hour to just do the work they would normally do, except I would be filming them. I tried to be as unobtrusive as possible. Sometimes I got a good shot. Sometimes I didn't. Sometimes they got up and walked into the other room, or in Jarrell's case, walked upstairs to the roof of his loft building in downtown Los Angeles, where it was very dark and I had the wrong camera and I was scrambling. In not wanting to bother them too much, I ran behind them trying to capture what I could, carrying my camera bag and 2 cameras. Sometimes the footage is too dark, sometimes it's shaky. I really did try to stay close to them and not have it suck too much. Much of the time I accomplished this. There are a few times that I did not. After an hour of filming them, and they not knowing how we were going to do this but trusting me, I mic'd them and I asked them each about 10 questions. For the most part, all 10 questions were the same. I asked them questions like, what gets you through your dark days? What's your creative process? Why is art important? What you are about to watch is these 2 components, visuals and audio, put together into a film. Once I realized that I wanted others to see this, I originally thought it would be a great docuseries. I still think that it may end up like that. But in the meantime, I had film friends suggest that I put 5 subjects together into a film and submit it to a festival just to get it out there and go from there. It was accepted into the Valley Film Festival in Hollywood, California last fall. How terrifying and exciting. The fact that we are experiencing a global pandemic and home quarantine at this time, I wanted to share this film with these artists' words of wisdom with the world with this free streaming today. The part of me that can overthink things and get too into promotions can't do too much because I made this decision less than 24 hours from the time I set to premiere the film. Now more than ever, we need to be reminded of the importance of art, artists, and creativity. I hope their words offer some comfort and maybe even a little healing during this time when we are all grieving. If it does touch you in some way, I'd love to hear from you. Stay strong and stay home. And if you want to know more, there's a very basic website for it. It's soulprovidersdocumentary.com. So I'm on an app called Voxer. Have you heard of it? It's like voice memos or voice texting to a group of people. And so you can set up any group you want, or you can do it to an individual. So I have a group, and we all are starting businesses or creative business owners. 5 of us, maybe 4 of us, I think, have podcasts. And one person doesn't, but we're trying to get her on board to get a podcast. But we're just sort of a mastermind group. We support each other. And one of the women in the group, Emma, she has a podcast that just launched called Creative Ways Podcast. And she speaks with other creative professionals. She even interviewed me, but that episode hasn't been posted yet. But she just launched like 2 weeks ago. So I will post the link to that. But I think it's thecreativewayspodcast.com, or maybe no the in the beginning, just Creative Ways Podcast. So I'll put a link on my website. But Emma has suggested that I include my experience today with the podcast. And I was like, that's brilliant. So my response to her, I'm going to record it for you and so you can hear it. And I sound congested in my response because I had been crying. I'm sobbing, and not tears of sadness, tears of gratitude, and just from the deep experience of life, you know? So here it is.
Thank you, Emma. It's a great idea. I hadn't thought of that. I've been wanting to talk about something with creativity and the coronavirus and quarantine. And that's a really good idea to make this the centerpiece, because it's such a big, huge thing. And I know it would come out at some point, but to do it right now, I think means a lot. And I'm really glad that you said that to me and that you reminded me to look at this that way. So thank you. I'm totally crying. I'm totally crying because there's so much in that film, because another thing when I'm watching it, I'm thinking about how much my body hurt, you know, like when I was holding the camera, but how I really wanted to capture them, and how I was a little bit uncomfortable when I got there, but I kind of felt like protected, and I felt like somebody was with me when I got to their places, because I felt awkward and uncomfortable. Like, here I am with all my stuff, and I was going through deepest grief and trauma, so I looked and felt like shit. But I just zoned in and focused. And when I watched that, that's what I remember. I remember all of that. I remember every time that I sat at my computer and lost it and cried and shut it all down and didn't want to do it anymore. And then other times when I went back to it and I was excited and I wanted to do it in Michael and Derek's honors. So there's so much for me personally with this film. And part of it was because Dapo calls in the music industry demotitis, something like that, where you get attached to one version of the song that if anybody wants to update it or add something, everybody doesn't like it just because it's something different. So, like, putting it out in the world, it's like part of me is, well, the first time when I did it at the film festival, that sort of released a lot for me. But now, knowing that more people will see it and more people I know will see it is like freeing. It's not as terrifying as I thought it was going to be. It's more freeing. And I just feel relaxed and good and kind of like, finally, like this is, 7 years in the making. It's like, it's finally out there, God, get it out of here. And, there's still so many things I would change, and it's not really a film to me. It's more of a docuseries that should only have 2 people per episode so that you can really go into their minds. And it's hard to put 5 people over an hour, but I just, did it. But anyways, thank you so much. Your feedback is really helpful, and I appreciate it. I'm going to try to take a nap, I think, until the next one. But, yeah, thank you. Oh, I just want to tell you, Emma, these are tears of deep gratitude. I feel enormously grateful for the healing. I feel grateful for the love that I have for Derek and my brother, and that how much that was a catalyst for so many things from that point to this point. It's like there's so many things there to unpack, but it's not sadness at all. It's gratitude and joy and just deep feeling, lots of deepness. So it's all good. And you having, telling me to document it doesn't stress me out at all. It makes me happy. It makes me realize, yeah, that's actually really good. That's smart. So just wanted to say that before I was done listening.
Okay, so the first screening, the 8 a.m. screening, for me it was 8 a.m., is behind me. I feel so good. I feel so calm and relaxed, and like I've accomplished something by putting this out there. It's personal and more than personal, but it's so personal to overcome your own fears. And, and I just really want to say to any artists listening to this, I really don't think our art, and I've thought about this a lot, okay, so, and I've debated myself about whether this is true or not, but I really, really want to say this. I do not believe our art is complete until it goes out into the world. There's a whole world of living with it. There's a whole world of feeling it and thinking about it and mulling it over and experiencing it as the primary person, as the artist. It's like storytellers have said, I've heard someone say, the first time you're writing a story, it's being told to you, and then all the edits are you getting it ready to tell other people. So I really do believe that there is something that completes the entire circuit or the system or the purpose when we go through all the stuff we go through, but then we put it out into the world. It's the final piece. We need that. There's something healing and freeing. And I'm a person who could do 1,000 things of art, whatever version that takes, and never have it released just because I don't do stuff for people necessarily in that way. I don't know how to describe it, but I think if you're listening to this and you're like me, you'll resonate and you'll get what I'm saying. But I do kind of want it to go out to people, but I want it to go out to the right people, quote unquote. But you got to go through a lot of wrong people before you get to the right people. And I never wanted to go through the wrong people. So I have a tendency to hoard my art because I never want to hear something stupid or mean or uninformed or ignorant. I don't want to hear it. But do I really not want to hear it to the point where I don't ever want to put my stuff out there? Is that really what I'm going to do? Because that's not okay. Is that okay with you? To never put your stuff out there ever? And if you haven't put your stuff out there yet, I just want to tell you, or if you've not connected it with somebody that appreciates it, it's such a good feeling, deep spiritual release feeling, meaningful feeling to have something that you envision or that comes to you that you create, and then you put it in the world and somebody else resonates with it. There is something incredible about that. And I really think that everybody should experience that, especially artists. So during this time, this strange, strange time that we're in, if you're looking at your life and you're thinking about, your art, your expression, what you are leaving this world, like what of you are you leaving here? It could be your relationships with people, which is huge, huge. But just think about that. And I really, really want to just invite you to put your art out there. And I also want to invite you to watch my film on a lighter note. And if you do watch it, let me know. Send me a message on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. Just send me an email, whatever. I really want to hear from you because if it touches you in any way, I need to hear that. Because, there's still a part of me that's sitting in that bedroom with my computer with these files going, is anyone even going to get anything from this? I get it. Like, I get so much from each one of these artists. But is anyone else? So if you have any feedback or anything, I'd love to hear from you. And enjoy. And I don't know, stay strong during this time. Stay kind to yourself and stay in touch with your heart. And if you can't make the live stream, you can watch the movie on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Lisa Murray, LisaMurray. I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep it up there, but it's up there for right now. So go ahead and head over there, check it out, and let me know what you think. It's 53 minutes long, so a little under an hour. Thanks again for your support.